Good afternoon. I am going to go over Spiral Review 12B. Please make sure that you have your name on it and that you know that it is due on Friday, March 12th. You can turn your Spiral Review in tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday to get a free pre-check from me or Mrs. Amsball so that you can correct it before Friday. In the left column, please notice that it says compare fractions using equivalent fractions. That means you can't just use the butterfly method or the cross multiply method. You have to find two fractions that have the same denominator. So if I think about the multiples for 10, I know that they are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. The first one I come to that is also a multiple of 9 is 90. So my equivalent fraction for each number is going to have 90 as the denominator. Over here on the right, I know that 9 times 10 is 90. 8 times 10 is 80. Now you'll need to find an equivalent fraction for 9/10 that has 90 as the denominator, and then decide which one is greater. Now, we haven't done a lot of comparing fractions with mixed numbers, but it's okay because this mixed number, the whole numbers are the same. They're both 7. So you just need to compare 4/6 and 2/3. I know that 6 is a multiple of 3, so I can just convert this one fraction, 2/3, to so many 6, and then compare 7 and 4/6 to 7 and 2/3. Now, we haven't looked at these algebraic equations for a while, but if you remember when we were trying to find the rule, we had a lot of two-step rules. So we need to substitute this x for 7. So we know that when we see a number next to a variable, that is the same as saying 2 times x, or in this case, 2 times 7. Then you'll add the 5, and that will give you the value of y. We've been practicing this today. I'm going to skip going over this. If you need help, though, you can go to journal pages 81 and 82. Factors and multiples. List all the factors for 20. What numbers can I multiply and get 20? Well, the first one is going to be 1 times 20. See how I put the 1 on top and the 20 right underneath it? See if you can find the other two factor pairs for a total of 4 more factors for 20. This is different. We're looking for the multiples of 8, but it specifically asks us to list the second multiple, the fourth multiple, and the sixth multiple. So that means I need to do 8 times 2 here, which is 16. Then I will do 8 times 4. Then I will do 8 times 6. Down here we have a complex shape. I only need to find the missing sides. I do not need to find the area or perimeter. This number is a little hard to read, but it's a 6. If this is a 6, Peggy has the only one.
Okay.
So we're just short one.
Okay. And she's outside already.
So, sorry about that. So this is a 6. So that means if this is 10 and this is 6, how much is this? Remember, if this is the longest line and this is shorter, I need to subtract to find this missing length. Here I have my vertical lengths. Here's the longest vertical line. This one is shorter, and this one is shorter too. So again, you need to subtract to find your missing lengths. Now we have a table to fill out. It's talking about the length and widths of rectangles and the area and the perimeter of a rectangle. Let's do this last one together. This is a rectangle that has one side that is 6 inches. I don't know the length of the other side or the area, but I do know the perimeter. If you remember back when we knew our perimeter, we were using the formula perimeter equals 2 times the length plus the width. Well, we said that we could divide by 2 or chop the perimeter in half. That gives us 11 equals the length plus the width. So if my length is 6, that means my width is 5 inches. Don't forget to put inches because 6 plus 5 is 11. Now that I know my width is 5 inches, my area is 6 times 5 or 30 inches squared. On each of these measurements, you need to make sure that you have the correct unit listed for each column. Now we're going to talk about conversions. We all know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. If 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, that means 6 feet is equal to 6 times 12 inches. But over here, we're going to need to divide. Now I know 48 inches. How many feet is that? Well, 12 inches is 1 foot. 24 inches is 2 feet. 36 inches is 3 feet. And 48 inches is 4 feet. That's the same as if I had done 48 divided by 12. You'll need to do the same thing for yards to feet. 1 yard is how many feet? You'll need to multiply to figure out how many feet are in 4 yards. And then you'll need to divide to figure out how many yards are in 9 feet. How many yards 9 feet makes. Now this says use the models to write an improper fraction and a mixed number. These circles are divided into sevenths. That means no matter what fraction you're doing, you need to have 7 as your denominator. So you're going to have your numerator be 7, 14, 21, and you can choose any number of these to shade in and make that your numerator. Once you have your numerator, you should be able to make that a mixed number. So we don't all have to have the same improper fraction and mixed number. Okay? Everyone will have something between 22 and 27 as their numerator. Something between 22 and 27, and then turn that into a mixed number. Remember that you can count these out by sevenths or shade them in to help you. Now, let's look at this story problem. A mother manatee is 12 feet long. It is 3 times as long as the baby manatee. How long is the baby manatee? Write an equation with a label. So the mother is 12 feet long, and she's 3 times as long as the baby. That means 3 times the length of the baby is going to be equal to 12. To solve this equation, we need to work backwards, which means instead of multiplying by 3, I'm going to divide by 3. The length of the baby manatee is 4 feet. Now, down below, if a blue whale is 9 times as long as the mother manatee, so it's bigger than the manatee, how long is the blue whale? Show your work below. Write your race on a separate sheet of paper and staple the paper to the spiral review. Write the race on a separate piece of paper. If you turn it in written on this, I will ask you to please go back and redo it. Okay, so you need to say what the answer is. The blue whale is however many feet. First I, and tell what you did, and then tell why. This is a pretty simple race and should be 3 sentences or less. Okay, please make sure to turn this in for a pre-check. The grades last week were not as good as they typically are. So slow down, take your time, and turn this in for a pre-check. Please let me know any morning this week between 9:05 and 9:35 if you have any questions I can answer.